Hello everyone and welcome to this week's Wednesday Wellness Minutes. I'm Dr. Schilling with Secoya Health, and this week we're going to be talking about the famous or infamous coffee enema. Many of you may have heard about this if you've had a family member that's gone through chemotherapy or some type of radiation. This therapy is fantastic for getting toxins out of the body, but the benefits don't stop there. For women that are interested in getting pregnant and have been on birth control for long periods of time, it's very important that they understand this technique right here is very effective and fast at pulling these toxins out of the body. A brief understanding of how it works is basically the coffee metabolites go in through the colon and they're taken in through the veins and they go right to the liver. And instead of being detoxified by the liver, they actually open up the detoxifying pathways and allow the gallbladder and liver to dump the bile out, allowing it to increase the detoxification very fast. It's an enzyme called glutathione S transferase, and we won't get into the technicalities. You can understand that these enemas go back to the time of the Egyptians, and they had actually someone as funny as this name sounds, the guardian of the anus. And they talked about how they wouldn't go a week without this. Sometimes pharaohs would go days in a row, months in a row with doing a coffee enema. Enough information about that. I want to give you an understanding so we kind of demystify the whole process. Organic coffee, simple. You take 2 tablespoons, blend them up or put them in a bowl or something like that, make them powder. Keep them in the freezer though. You want to blend them at the time you're going to use them. You put that in a pot with 16 ounces of water. You boil that. Set aside after 5 minutes of boiling. Let it cool for 5. You add another 16 ounces of water. And not to worry, we have a handy dandy little handout here for you that if you come into the clinic, we have instructions and also history about how to do it. So all this information is in this packet, but just helping you understand how it's an easy process to do. You then put the coffee mixture into this bucket. Now of course you have this tube connected to this bucket, which then you will hang at about head height, maybe up in this area, and of course the tube will hang down to where you'll be on the floor next to the toilet, of course. What's important to understand is as you get prepared, you're going to want a few things. This is an example. It doesn't have to be this type, but you'd want a bigger towel to put on the floor in case you had any spilling or droppage. This is gray. You can use brown or black. Works perfectly fine. You'll also want either paper towel or some type of absorbent material to apply to the perineal area as you're taking the tube in and out to make sure you're not losing fluids all over your towels. So those are helpful. And to put in your solution, we recommend Seldomed. This helps calm down what can be called spasmodic or spastic colon, because as the fluid goes in, your colon's of course not accustomed to having fluid go in, and therefore it may get a little bit spastic in order to make your brain, because your brain's telling it to get it out. Well, this will calm that down and make it much easier for you to hold it. Up to 10 minutes. We want to hold the detox for 10 minutes, evacuate the first 16, apply the other 16, hold for 10, and then evacuate. Extra virgin coconut oil is great. You apply that to the tip as you, after you've clamped down the brake and turned off the full stop. You apply that into the bowel, and then you open that back up and allow the fluid to flow into the colon. But this is perfect extra virgin coconut oil to apply to this and a little bit to the anus as far as getting ready for the insertion, and that will allow a smooth and steady entry. And understand that as you come out, you just want to collect, and then when you're done with this whole process, you want to have some boiling water, have it boiled, and then you're going to rinse this off to sanitize it, and of course you rinse out the bucket and make it all clean and happy. And then you'll want to store it in this fancy bag that comes with it. So just to recap, basically these are the steps you want to use in order to make it an easy process. Again, we have a handout here to take all the guesswork out of it. Most people do 1 every 2 weeks for about a month, and they do it 1 a week for about 6 weeks, and then they back off to 1 every 6 weeks. And that's helpful for continuing the detoxification process. U of M researchers say we're exposed to 270,000 different toxins a day, which is important to understand because it's not a matter of if or when, but if the level of toxicity builds up in our body and becomes a problem. We're all toxic. We're all exposed to air, water, food, and other chemicals that we're taking in every day. We need to get them out in a safe manner. I know of no faster, more simple, and safer way to get them out of your body than this. And I know a lot of people poo-poo it because they think, and no pun intended, poo-poo it because, of course, it is an enema. And people are, in our culture think, oh, enemas, that's taboo of some sort. But again, this goes back to the time of the pharaohs, and it's very effective. This technology should be used for those who can tolerate it by everyone. It's not just adults, but children who on the spectrum, they have a lot of toxins built up in their body. These are great for that. But again, the chemicals that are coming from the coffee are beneficial for detoxification of the body and not intended for the actual stimulation from the caffeine. That's not what it's about. It's about boosting your glutathione transferase, detoxing the bile out of the body, getting the bowels moving. Wonderful. We hope this has been helpful for you. Please feel free to call the clinic with any questions. We're happy to give you a handout so you can educate yourself more. Share this with your family and friends. Maybe you know someone who's going through chemo or radiation that need to get toxins out of their body. This is a fantastic adjunctive therapy, and it's not really harmful in any way, shape, or form as long as you're safely inserting and retracting the tube. We hope you found this helpful, and we look forward to seeing you next Wednesday.